Hello? Did I make
Hello.
it? Wait, what the heck?
It's okay. Let's let it settle.
Okay, I made it. I was having technical difficulties.
Of course. Of course.
Hiya.
Hi. You look good.
Oh, thank you. I
Good.
wore my yellow today because I'm like, it's gloomy outside. I just want to be a little bright.
I know. I'm really I had it. I've completely had it with the cold and it needs to go away forever, as far as I'm concerned.
I know, and I like to hibernate when it's cold. I'm very good at doing that.
Falling asleep on the couch.
Just being in bed, just like this, hood on, with my snacks.
Yeah, this recording date is April 10th and it's still like 45 degrees. I'm like, no, that's
I
just wrong.
know. I miss
It's
you.
all sorts of wrong. Okay, we're gonna get this started. So I'm gonna do a little introduction
Okay.
and then we're in. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. So hello and welcome to Changed for the Better, the Power of Arts in Education.
I'm Stacy Tiro, a high school performing arts teacher for over 25 years. I've taught a lot of amazing people. Now that so many of my students are adults, they'll teach me how, through the lessons in my classroom, they have been changed for the better.
And then that's when like the little D D D D D D
Intro.
Yep, my little intro. Okay, so intro finishes. So I am once again really excited about this interview. I feel like I stacked I don't know, the first 10 or so of my interviews with, my absolute favorite people.
Yeah.
I figured they would make the best interviewees. Just like stack them all in there. So this is episode 9. Welcome to episode 9.
Thank you.
And so I'm going to do a little introduction of the beautiful people who I'm looking at. So this person, and you get to say your name. So this person actually started out on stage crew. Like when she started out, I kind of thought that she was going to be like in the running for backstage manager, that kind of thing. Like as a freshman, she showed a lot of promise, as far as leadership and interest was concerned. And then like all of a sudden she kind of showed an interest in being on stage. I think that like she took that first step on the crew and then she was like, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yep.
And so that performance bug, bitter hard. In her 10th grade year, she enrolled in my dance classes and started getting, some training and getting some comfort with her. She's very, very tall too. So her very tall, kind of lanky body.
Yep.
And she grew tremendously, like year to year to year. Very sort of quiet, but like really hardworking, really interested, like the kind of kid that I'm like, yeah, that's the kid I want. Eventually she got the courage to actually audition and she was like straight ensemble. She's like always in the ensemble and she was perfectly happy there.
That's what I was.
I'm good dancing in the back. Sometimes I'll come in the front and then I'll go back to the back.
Yep, I'll go right back.
So your first show was in the Wiz, right?
Yeah, it was the Wiz. I actually auditioned for Footloose. And it was like, I spoke to Tendrina because I was like, oh my God, Tendrina, you're a dance captain, and she's so sweet, so kind. And I was like, this is a perfect person for me to talk to. So she was like, honestly, you never know what's going to happen at the end. You just have to be courageous. And if you want to do it, do it. Because a lot of my friends were in thespians, they were in the fall show. So I was like, okay, musical, like I like to dance a little bit. Let me see what it is. And I didn't make it, but I was like, okay, I didn't make it, but I can try again next year and go harder than I did this year.
Thank God.
And I guess it worked.
So she was in The Wiz and In the Heights, and then of course, you know, West Side Story, which we can talk about later. And then her bravery like grew kind of exponentially each year. And so that in her third year as a dancer, her senior year, she was in that trio dance that I had talked about earlier on with Manny and with Emily to Take Me to Church. Yeah. That's the one that like made me cry like all the time. It was just like, and it was a hard, and I actually went back and watched the rehearsal video from a long time ago. And I was just like, man, like,
yeah, you kept us in shape with that dance. Like you were not playing around.
No, I was like, I got my people now. It's time to do it. It's time to do it. And so she just loved performing, and she just loved, you know, being out there, and she was really content, you know, like supporting leads and just exploring her body and her sense of, you know, what is performance. And then you always had this Zen sort of quality about you, which really honestly helped me to center myself. Whenever you walked in the classroom, you had this kind of just, and whatever you were feeling, that you weren't projecting that out. You were just kind of like, And so I was always able to just like stop and take a breath and go, okay, Kayla's here. Good. We're in a good place now. And I'm still that way. Like whenever you walk into my room, like I just need to like drink in the hug.
Yes, a long hug. We always
drink in those like long hugs and relax, and like then I love, okay, life is good. So moving forward, she graduated. She went to Ithaca, and then she transferred to SUNY Cortland, and she wound up with her bachelor's in speech and hearing sciences, right?
Yeah.
And then after some serious soul searching,
a lot of soul searching in a pandemic.
She realized that her passion and her gifts lie in a different place. And then she wound up taking the 200-hour yoga course for certification, and she got her yoga certificate. And now she somehow got her foot in the door at Columbia University, where she teaches yoga there. It's just like, wow.
I know, it's crazy.
It's amazing. So we're gonna move this forward. So we're gonna ask you question number 1, which is probably the easiest question. You're gonna please tell us, the viewers, your name, the year that you graduated, and talk more about what you do now.
Okay. So my name is Kayla Tavares, and I graduated in 2015. And actually, I just want to bring this up because I watched Elijah's interview. And he said spring 2015, like he was in college, and I died when he said that. He's like, I graduated in spring 2015.
I know.
It was so funny. But yeah, so I graduated 2015, and I am a yoga instructor at Columbia University right now. It's crazy for me to say that, but one day over the summer, last summer, I was looking for teaching jobs because it is very hard being a new teacher trying to get a studio job or, you know, any yoga teaching job in general.
Yeah.
Because you need to have a lot of experience. Some of these studios really have rigorous like rules there and how they want things done.
Yeah.
So I was in the bathroom, like just on my phone, and I'm like, I need to find a job. It was like early in the morning, like 3 a.m. So I went on Indeed, and Columbia University popped up, and it was like, I'm looking for yoga instructors. But this was strictly for group fitness. Like you can pay to go to the gym and then take these courses, like as if you would take Zumba courses. So got in touch with the lady, and she was like, had the interview, and she was like, yes, we want you. You know, you're going to teach Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this time. I was like, okay. And then I get an email a few days later from her, and she's like, oh, the physical education department is looking for another yoga teacher to teach a pass-fail course. So I was like, professor?
Like, professor?
Like, yeah, I'm an associate, but I'm still teaching, you know, yoga to pass for a pass-fail course. So I'm just like, my mind is really, it's a lot. It was a lot to process, but I still can't believe that I got that position
Sure.
out of training.
Well, so I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm surprised just because I know how hard it is and to find work, but I'm not surprised that they like sort of landed on you. Like, I'm not at all surprised with that. You exude that, and and you're so intelligent, and you're so, whatever's going on inside, and it could be like, rah, you don't give that off at all. So whatever you're exuding to the people who are hiring you, I'm like, yep, I'm glad that they read that.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm really excited about that. I didn't actually realize that you were a professor. I don't know if you knew, I graduated with my master's from Teachers College.
Yeah, you told me when I saw you for the book signing.
That's right.
We got to briefly talk at the end. It was just really, really brief because we both had to go.
Yeah. So when I just saw Columbia, I was like, oh, I know that place. Oh, okay. So now let's move into question number 2. These are some of the harder questions, but they're the good ones. All right. So using your adult brain, describe your adolescent self.
Okay. So leading up to this interview, I was thinking a lot about who I used to be. Mm-hmm. And some parts of me I really remember, but other parts I'm just like, maybe I don't remember because I was continuously the same person up until today. Mm-hmm. I think you described it perfectly earlier. I was like a gentle giant, like tall, quiet, came, did my business, went home, came back, did it again. Mm-hmm. And that was really me from the moment I started school, like elementary school to throughout college. I just was quiet, spoke to the people who I needed to talk to, like confided in the people that I wanted to, and then I just went on with my day, and I was really happy doing that. So I think that's how I was, just really quiet, calm, didn't really give off a lot, unless you really needed to talk to somebody.
And there was, it wasn't like you weren't like a tough nut to crack. You weren't intentionally holding back.
Right.
You just didn't, you chose very carefully when you shared yourself and when you were like, here's my boundary.
Yes, exactly.
You're really good at the boundary setting, concept, which a lot of people, especially at that age, even adults, like they need some work.
They do, yes.
On boundary setting, me included. So I think that's a very healthy kind of, it conserves your spirit. It conserves your energy.
Yeah. And one thing I always teach in my classes is to protect your peace. And one of my friends, Jade, she's always like, your peace is really expensive. And it's like, if you have something really expensive, you don't want to lose that. You don't want to let that go. So it's something that's resurfaced in my life, especially being a yoga teacher and teaching in the city. The city is a very high energy. There's so much going on.
So much noise.
And when I go into the city, it's like I instantly turn, like my mood just switches. I'm like hard as a rock, like, brr, because I'm taking on everybody else's, how they act and what their energy is. And I don't want to be like that. So I really try to be like, Kayla, protect your peace, keep your peace, because I can't afford to, like blow my lid and ruin everything that I've worked for, personally. So it's a little battle, but
yeah.
But can I also share, I was looking at photos of me in high school to see how different I look now. Here's me. This is, I don't know, we were trying to be like, this is a picture, but like, I don't look like that anymore.
Is that freshman year?
This was senior year. This is a picture of all, it's this picture with like all of us, Dion, Dana, yeah, Vic, Gabby,
yeah.
Elijah.
That's how I remember you with, like, you know, a whole
Hair.
lot of hair. There's a lot of hair there. I do
Yeah.
remember. And I'm going to
Well,
be
that's
asking you to send me some pictures, by the way. I mean, I have
okay.
pictures too, but you're gonna send me a couple.
Yeah.
All right. That was awesome. Okay. Question 3. Ready? So we're reflecting on your studio / dance class rehearsals experiences. That's where we are. So what was something that happened in the studio, or by extension in rehearsals, that helped you to manage or to regulate your adolescent self?
It was definitely, there's so many things, but the thing that stands out to me the most was having the support of Tendrina that freshman year of school. Because if I didn't get that support from her, and then the support from you afterwards being like, it's okay, it's okay that you didn't make it this year, next year you have to bring it really hard. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. And I've never worked hard ever in my life. Like, I don't like working at all, but I love dancing. And I'm not like the best dancer in the world, but it brought me so much peace, so much comfort. I was just so happy just being free. And hearing those lessons of just like, it is okay. It's not the end of the world that you didn't make it this time. There's so many more opportunities to prove to people and to prove to yourself that you are capable of achieving what you want, even if it is just being an ensemble for every single play, which I was so happy being, because I got to prove myself in that way. And I was able to be dance captain, and I was able to get the gypsy robe, So it was like, I did what I wanted to do with the support of Tendrina and the words from you freshman year. Like, I'm not mad about that. I'm really happy with how everything went in high school. And in the studio. It was just, the studio was such a special place, a very, very special place. I would skip lunch. I would skip classes to go and just be there with you. Even if it wasn't like you would just be in there, and we would play. I don't know if you remember, we had this game Fun Run on the phone, and we begged you, like, Tiro, please download it. And I just remember coming and playing Fun Run with you sometimes. I'm like, I don't want to go to math. I'm just going to go see Tiro. And just those talks that we would have, and you would allow me to just open up and be me and be deep, because I have a really small family. And my older sister, she's 13 and a half years older than me. So I never had someone that I felt like, I was able to confide in her about a lot of things, but an age gap is difficult.
Yeah.
So it was really,
and especially with sisters, because like siblings, there's automatically, like family stuff, and then there's such a separation, and into her sort of going into adulting stuff by then.
Right. But then now it's beautiful, because now I'm an adult, so it's like that relationship is just exactly what I want it to be. So I just feel like life just moves in the way that it should, in that way.
That's amazing. Okay, we're at 4. Number 4. So what are some lessons? Now, you said a couple, right? But what are some other lessons that you learned in the studio that you think about or use today?
I did say a lot.
You did.
I did say a lot of things. I feel like everything I'm saying is kind of intertwining into the next question.
And that's what happened.
Yeah, like natural flow. But truly the discipline for me, the discipline and realizing how powerful that I can be. I have a lot of power. And Dion tells me that, a lot of people in my life tell me this, but Dion tells me this the most. I have so much power, and I'm capable of being so powerful. I have to trust myself to use those gifts. And I feel like back in high school, I was so powerful, and I was powerful enough to show everybody the gifts that I had. And it's just like, this is so crazy reflecting now, just having like a moment of like, wow, I used to be, and I still am, but a different version of this like powerful, disciplined Kayla, but in different parts of my life.
Yeah.
So I learned to be powerful and I learned to be disciplined because you were like, Kayla, get up in the front. You're going to get in the front and you're going to show everybody how to do it.
Yeah.
You're going to stay after with me, and I'm going to tell you that you have to point your toes. You have to do this. You have to do that.
Yep.
And I was never upset by that. I said, okay. And I did it. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Okay, I'll do it.
It's true. And you know what, so last summer we kind of, reconnected over at, around Po Reservation, which is like one of my favorite places.
Best places ever. You introduced me to that beautiful place.
Oh my God, that's a great place. And I remember we were sitting, on the rocks by the waterfall, and we were talking not about this yoga position, but a different one that you were like
that I had
auditioned for or whatever. And I remember, you had that there was like, a little anxiety about it, and you were kind of unsure of yourself. And I was like, no, it's Kayla magic. Like, you just go and you bring yourself, and everything else is going to be fine. Yeah. And then that thing, like, didn't work out, but then you found this other thing. So you just carry that magic with you, and you're going to be fine.
I am. I have to tell myself that.
Yeah. It's well, okay. I'll keep telling you that. How's that?
Yeah, please, Kayla, it's going to be okay. It's fine.
It's all good. Tomorrow, you got tomorrow. Like, there's another thing coming your way tomorrow. Yeah, discipline. Yeah, that's one thing I really, sometimes that's a hard thing, especially now, like post-pandemic, trying to get kids like back into a routine that got like dropped. Like, everything just got dropped for us for like 2 years. And so now, like, they're walking into the studio and I'm like, okay, and they're like, like, they don't know what to do with me. So some of them respond, and some of them are like, yeah, we'll see about that. But it's important. Discipline is important.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. Okay. So you had said earlier that, like, you've kind of always been you from, then to now, but we all go through changes. We all go through things. So how have you changed since high school?
Anxiety. I went to college and started to experience this little thing that people call anxiety. This little big thing. And that has changed my life. It's changed how I function. It's changed how I do things, not for the worst completely, but a lot for the better, because I had to do things to keep myself up, to make sure that I can't fall. I cannot fall, because if I fall, it's going to be bad. You know what I mean? Like, I have to make sure I'm like outside, drinking my water, eating, doing my yoga, teaching. Teaching makes me so happy, but also it can drain you. Like, I'm sure like giving so much of yourself to people all day long. And then it's like you go home and you're like, oh, now I have to tend to myself. But then sometimes you never get around to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes you just don't get around to it, and you kind of lose that routine, which is why I need that discipline in my life. Because if I lose that discipline, then everything just crumbles.
Yeah, no, it's true. And we're actually going to talk about that self-care stuff towards the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, that pulling away and then recharging and sleep, that all of those things are it's a requirement. It's not even just like I'll get around to. No, like, it's a requirement. And you do have to be disciplined in order to keep feeding that cycle. So I'm glad you know that.
Yeah, I'm different in that way, but then I'm different in just, I feel more like myself. I feel like I've stepped into who I wanted to be now. I'm like, I dress however I want. I made the big step a few years ago to cut my hair. I was so attached to my hair. It's like hair is everything to a Black woman. It's like, if you have a lot of hair, that's like that's the standard of beauty for Black women. Right. And I was just tired of it because I was waking up, I had to do my hair all the time, wash it. And I was like, I'm cutting it. I'm cutting it. Going to the barbershop and I'm cutting it. And I did it. And I think that is what paved the way to make me just be who I want to be and do whatever I want. And I went to college for speech pathology because, you know, I thought that was the right thing to do for me and for my family and to make them proud. But then when I graduated, I was just like, no, I don't really want to do this. I want to give myself to people and have people receive me in other ways. And I loved doing yoga. We would go to Soul Flight together sometimes.
Yep.
And
hang upside down.
Yeah. And I was just like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so I stepped into my power since high school.
I love that. And about the hair, you know, you've done that big chop several
yes,
times along the way. You know, like she'd have like these gorgeous braids or curls everywhere, you know, big afro. And then like I'd see her and she's like, choop, you know, like where she is now. And I'm like, where did it all go? I had to cut it off. So like I think that was just you emerging slowly, and then that sort of pull towards what is that cultural norm and what is the thing that I really am, that I really want to be. Yeah.
And then I colored it. So that was another big step for me.
I love it. I love it.
It's like brown.
Yeah. No, I love it. It's beautiful. Okay. So we're moving into 6 right now. So then and now, right? What would your adult self tell your high school self now to kind of help ease the way, soothe?
I would tell my younger self to just continue being authentic. Authenticity is really important to me. And you know, when you meet new people, you don't truly show them like your full self, your full weird side. But as I've gotten older, I'm just like, I really don't care. Like if I hear a good song in the supermarket, I might start busting a move in the aisle, you know, or like if I'm in a really good mood, sometimes when I'm walking outside, I'll just like bob my head side to side and just not really care what people think or how people view me. So I just really want to tell my younger self and just like give her a hug and be like, it's okay to just be you, and it's okay to just do whatever you want without worrying about any consequences. Because I'm such a forward thinker, and I've always been a forward thinker. I'm always thinking about the future, always thinking about like what if, or thinking in the past, like, oh my God, this person might have thought this about me, or it doesn't matter in the end, because everyone is on this earth for a different purpose. We are all walking our own path. So it's like, you know, I might be very interested in what other people are doing, but I don't have to really watch them and be like, oh, that person is like doing that. It doesn't really matter at all. So I hope that she knows that.
Yeah.
Just be authentic, be you. And
the Kayla magic is enough.
It's enough. I don't have to worry about anybody else.
That's right. And I think, you know, I think teenage Kayla kind of had some of that wisdom then. You know, you didn't get caught up in trends. You didn't, you know, fashion like didn't drive you. You know, you were probably from then to now probably the most, I'll say, like consistent as far as your personality and the way that you are. And I think that that's what's so attractive to like me as a person, that it's very steady. It's very like, I know what to expect, and I like this this person. And I'm glad that she didn't really change, that much, short of just being older and wiser and a little calmer,
Oh, thanks, Tiro. You're so sweet to me. Always.
All authentic. Okay, moving on. Let's go to question 7. Yeah, this one. What's something that you are grappling with now?
To be honest, anxiety and figuring out what my passions are in life. I have one, which is teaching, but I really reflect all the time. My mind is like this all day, every day, because I'm just thinking about so many different things. And I'm just not really sure, where my life is going to take me, which is also okay because I grow and change and move with life every single day. But then the anxiety on my shoulders, like, no, right now, you have to think about your whole entire life, your 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plan, and how everything's going to go. But then over here, I'm like, no, I don't. I can just be present and move like the wind, just flow. So it's a constant battle and it's hard. And honestly, I got COVID in December. In 20. I got COVID in December. And I feel like after I got that, things really shifted for me. Like I was sick for like 2 weeks or a week and a half. And then my body was still recovering. And then I kind of just lost everything. I lost my flow, my personal practice, my routine. And so I'm really now trying to build that back up because that's very important to me. And it like I said earlier, if I don't have that, I'm like down. Down bad. So
nothing like a little COVID to just like
I know
the world in the worst way.
Really, it was, they always talk about like the after you get COVID, what happens. I'm like, yeah, I experienced like that brain fog. And so it was a struggle because I would always practice yoga. And then after that, I didn't practice for months. I just didn't feel, it was hard. And I was also off from Colombia, off for the semester, for the winter break. So I had a long time to not do anything. And then once I got back in that groove, when the semester started, things started to pick back up.
Do you think that break actually strengthened your resolve? Like once you found your routine again?
I think so. I think I felt like I needed that break because I was also drained from the semester. But in a way it did. In a way, it allowed me to just reset and kind of figure out how I want to move forward come January, come when I start teaching again. So yeah, because once I started, things have been pretty good.
Yeah, falling in place.
Yeah.
And I've always been a big, like yes, you're talking about that, the planning version of you and the rolling with it. And I think that we live in somewhere in the middle of that, right? On any given time, like you need to be mindful, you need to live moment to moment, and you need to kind of have a sense of where you want to go. And that's, you just can't live only in an either or, it's an and, right? But I've always been, and my life and my career seems to have fallen, to this where, opportunities will come in front of you. I mean, you can look for opportunity, of course, you can create opportunity too, but sometimes things are put in front of you and then you have to make a decision. Like, how is this, which direction am I going to go? What path am I going to take? And sometimes you just need to take the opportunity. And even if it's not the forever thing, it's what can I get out of this? What kind of growth, can I get? And the Spring Valley job, my career, came out of that, just like kind of going from one thing to another until this big opportunity came up in front of me that turned into a bigger opportunity. And I was like, oh, now I got to get serious. Like, now I really got to get serious. And, and then 25 years later, like, I'm sitting here talking to you. So
yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go through soon. I feel like I have this great opportunity right now, and then this bigger opportunity is going to come, and it's going to be like, all right, Kayla, time to get into it.
Do it.
Like, this is not a joke anymore. This is
Yeah.
full time, and you got to get with the schedule, and it will really help me. It'll keep me grounded.
Yeah, certainly. So so my Zoom just quit. Like, bang, just quit. Like mid-sentence. So we're gonna try and pick this up. We were talking about opportunities that kind of present themselves. Technical glitches. Yeah, so I definitely see I see big things for Kayla Tavares.
Thank you. I need to hear go. My love language is words of affirmation. If that makes sense, just remember me as a high schooler and me coming to you and you just giving me advice. I just needed to hear all of that because that just makes me cry. It does.
Yeah. We reconnect every once in a while and we kind of get into it, and it's for both of us.
Yeah.
Take a breath. All right. So that was question 7. Now we're going to go, question 8. So tell me, there's going to be 2 things. One thing you miss about your high school self, and one thing that's gotten better about your adult self.
So what I miss about my high school self is how free I was. I was so like free as a bird, just walking around, happy, going to dance, just being myself, messing around with my friends, like Manny and Gabby and Victor, just being there with them. Like, I miss that so much. And I guess I kind of mourn that part of myself because now we're all adults and we have jobs and we live not near each other. So I guess those 2 questions go hand in hand now that I'm talking about it, because it's like I miss that part of myself. But then now things are just so different because we're not teenagers anymore. I'm turning 25 at the end of this month. Can you believe that? 25.
No.
I'm gonna be 25.
I mean, yes, but
like, you saw me grow. You saw me go through such a crucial time in a teenager's life. So I just miss how free I am, but now I'm just like, I appreciated that. Yeah. And I appreciate still being friends with all of these people and us supporting each other in this new phase of our life. So yeah.
I was always, and I know I talked about this like probably in Manny's and or Elijah's interview. That class, that 2015 class, was a ridiculously close-knit group.
And I'm not sure how, but we all knew each other from elementary school, preschool. Like, I've known Manny since 5th grade.
Right.
And Emily I've known since Margette's, which was like primary school. But you usually grow up with all of these people, but I just don't know why all of us, even beyond my friend group, just the grade collectively, like, I'm still don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. No, and you've stuck with each other. Like you're doing your life and that's just the way it goes, but you're always like present in each other's consciousness.
Yeah,
you haven't put them away, still there with each other,
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, and I enjoyed seeing those relationships kind of happening in front of me. And then it was so much like, this was a class where like I'd have them come over for taco nights and let's dance,
Yes, just dance.
chocolate chip cookies and all that. And like they'd be like in my dining room and in my living room and just be doing their thing and playing these word games and having these deep intellectual conversations
at like 13.
No, not 13. It was like, well, maybe you were, but
like in front of you,
16,
like 15,
17.
yeah.
And I'm like looking at these kids like, and my husband was also kind of like tickled by the whole thing. And then they would get like these deep conversations with my husband, and he was like, okay, it's just, they're lovely. Like they're the loveliest, deepest, kind of people. And I think that's why I've stayed, like connected, because I want to see where these minds and where these personalities are going to go. I want to see what's like next steps for them as they move on.
Yeah, we're doing some things. We sure are.
Yeah.
It's just
I got to get Dwayne now, Dwayne and Dion.
You do.
On the books at some point too.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. Number 9. Ready? If you could give a piece of sage advice to high school students now, what would that be?
Can I say a few things? Okay. I know that from what I've seen online on the TikTok, because I am on the TikTok, that some kids struggle with having friends and having genuine people around them. And I think that I've never struggled with that, and I'm very grateful for that. And I would just hope that, now that things are kind of, I don't want to say lessening with the pandemic, but people are back in school and
back, yeah.
I would say keep really good close friends. And it doesn't have to be like a humongous group, but you always need people there to support you and, have a little laugh and share some common interests. I feel like that was such a big part of my life, and it still is. Having friends and having people around me that genuinely care about me and support me and that we want to support each other is really important for me. So I would tell them that, be authentic. It's really easy these days to kind of fall into the trap of wanting to be like everybody else. Like, I feel like now social media is like a crazy thing. I didn't really we grew up.
It was there,
but we weren't on it. We were like, Instagram was just starting, and then like Snapchat.
Right.
But we were just
Snapchat.
like, yeah.
Snapchat.
Like Snapchat was a thing, but now it's just like no one has a conversation. It's just like, I just want to be in my phone. But there are those few people that are like, no, I want to get out into the world and just be me and be authentic and like meet people that want to do the same thing. So I just like hope for them to just be yourself, continue to be yourself, like have those close people around you. Those are the 2 most important things to me, because I feel like it carries you, it does carry you along with so many other things, but it's hard. It's hard, like, especially for students who were in school online. I was in school online, but I had gone through like 5 years of college at that time. I was like, I don't care, just get me out of this online schooling. But some of them had to do it for 2 years of the rest of their high school, career.
That's true.
It's a loss. It's a really big loss. And
those kids, they were robbed.
They were robbed. And so that's why I'm just like, I hope and pray for them that starting now and like continuing for the rest of their school years, that they're able to just find themselves, because it can be really easy now to lose parts of you, because you got robbed of a lot of parts of you.
Yeah, that
Brings a lot of that.
development was
Yeah.
just like stunted. And
Mhm.
now they have to find it as an older person, and that's a harder thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
You don't have the safety net, you know,
No.
making mistakes, you know, in a safer place, you know, with adults around you like constantly. And
Mhm.
it's different. So
So
it'll be
that-
interesting to see how like the class of 2020 and the class of 2021, you know, kind of emerge in the
yeah,
next 5-6 years.
yeah.
Well, we have arrived at the 10th question, 10th and final question, which is now circling back to what you had started to bring up actually in the beginning of the conversation, which is, what are 3, and it could be more, self-care practices that you do to help center or regulate yourself?
Okay. So one of them is actually cooking. I started cooking when the pandemic started because I was like, I can't go out and sit at a restaurant anymore because Dwayne and I love to go out to eat. That's one of our favorite things to do. So I was like, can't go out to eat. I'm just gonna start cooking. And I would cook for hours. I would do like carrot cakes from scratch,
Ooh.
pasta sauces from scratch.
Mm.
I'm like my sister's bridal shower this past summer. I did all the food for it, bruschetta, meatballs, like fruit platters. Dwayne got me a cutting board with my name on it for Christmas. I love cooking. That is, if I'm like in a bad mood and I'm like, oh, I had a long day at work. Some people are like, oh, long day at work, I'm not gonna cook. I'm like, long day at work, get me in that kitchen, turn the stove on, and I'm gonna get going. So that's my biggest thing right now. Like, I love to cook. It brings me so much peace. Put in my headphones, put in my music, or sometimes I'll watch a show and I'll just like create so many different things. I pickle onions.
Oof.
I make garlic confit. I'm Tiro.
I'm coming to you. Forget tacos.
Oh, I make tacos too. I make like roasted cauliflower with beans, and then I put like roasted peppers on it.
Mm.
I cook.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, so I do that. That's one self-care thing. Another thing is music. I've fallen in love with music over the last like 5 years. I make playlists for everything, every mood, every single yoga class. I have a different playlist. Like can I show you really fast? Just
Sure.
I'll scroll through it just to show you how many playlists I have because it just means that much to me. So I'm just gonna scroll.
Oh my God.
I make a playlist for everything.
Wow. You have more
Yes.
playlists than I do. Holy cow.
I really tap in and I'm just working out how like one song ends and transitions to the other song and the mood of it and how I want the yoga class to go. Especially in my yoga classes, I make sure that I have a good playlist because that's an important part to me. And I just want to share that with other people. Like, hey, see how this song, makes you feel when you're doing your sun salutation. See how this song makes you feel when you're in down dog. Love it. I'm like here for it. So that's another thing that I love to do. And then I love to be outside in my hammock. I have a hammock. Go to the park, hang it up, and just swing. I bring my snacks, bring my water, the music, and I just hang there. So it's nice that it's getting warm now. And I also have a bike. I have a foldable bike.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That's so cute.
So I just picked it up from my mom's house yesterday. So I'm gonna start riding my bike again.
Good.
So
And now that it's getting nice out, like very soon, another Ramapo reservation. We're just gonna walk all over the
yes.
place and
Yeah.
sit on the rocks by the waterfall and just be like,
that day was magical. Oh, and I journal. I started journaling. But I'm more of I like to talk out loud to myself type of thing. I need to process it that way. But I guess sometimes I have a little thought that I'm just like,
well, you could always just record yourself and then like transcribe it later or listen to it later.
You're so right. I would I'm gonna do that. There's voice memos for a thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hello, la 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 la.
Yeah.
I'm more of a, it's here, I have to do this in order to get it out, because then I need to edit. Like I need to edit big time. I need to just kind of like get it out and then look at it and go, is that what I really meant? And then sort of craft it from there. But some people just gift of gab.
Yeah, I have the gift of the gab sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like really quiet, and then other times you can't. It's like, all right, Kayla, just be quiet. It's enough. Today is one of those days. I feel like I'm just like.
Well, it was good. It was good for this
it was.
You shared a tremendous amount. So I think that brings us to the conclusion of this wonderful episode 9 of Change for the Better, the power of arts in education. Thank you to my dear friend, Kayla Tavares.
Love, love, love.
For sharing with us all your thoughts. And tune in next week for episode 10. I can't believe we're getting to 10. It's crazy. And thank you.
Love you so much.